Hello, good night. This is U.S. Immigration Attorney Sharifa Tharpe. I am here live to take your U.S. immigration related questions. Now, I have a great topic to talk to you about tonight, and that is applying for permanent residence as well as your work permit in the United States through what is called Vawa. So Vawa is the Violence Against Women Act, but it is a form of relief that is available for any gender. So men, women, even children who are under 21, under 25 in some cases. And so it is a good way that one, especially if you're here and you're without status, where you can go ahead and be able to fix your status and get permanent residence and a work permit in the United States, especially if you are facing these circumstances. So this is how you qualify. If you're being mistreated by a US citizen or legal permanent resident spouse, a parent, if you're under 21 or under 25 in some cases, or a US citizen's son or daughter who is 21 and up. So if you are facing a situation like this, then you definitely want to continue to listen. Now, getting relief based on mistreatment doesn't necessarily mean that you are going to have to face physical violence, or you're going to have to include the police or show evidence of physical injuries. You do, though, have to experience mistreatment or extreme cruelty by these individuals, by these US citizen or resident individuals that I listed. And this kind of mistreatment can include verbal, mental, financial abuse as well, and emotional abuse, if I didn't mention that before. And so even though these are not types of or forms of abuse that can result in physical harm, it still leaves trauma and it still leaves scarring. It may not be shown externally, but it is a form of abuse, just because these kinds of experiences, being subjected to extreme cruelty, being subjected to verbal abuse or emotional abuse, manipulation, control, name calling, constantly being yelled at, constantly being threatened. These do affect individuals and they leave scars as well. And I just want to remind you here that abuse is abuse, no matter what form it comes in. And that is why if you're facing this sort of abuse, you would be able to qualify for your work permit, your travel document, and then your permanent residence in the United States. You would not have to leave the United States to be able to get this permanent residence. So that is another benefit of this. As long as you qualify through this, through VAWA, based on these circumstances, it allows you to stay here, even if you're out of status. In some cases, even if you've crossed the border without permission. And so it is at this point that I want to tell you, if you're experiencing this, you should call and schedule a consultation, because this is what I help my clients to achieve. Now, I know many people ask, well, how can this be done? And that is what I help my clients to do. I help them with the how. I walk them from the beginning of the process to the end of the process. And I help them to make this a reality for them, especially when, it is such a relief when they start out. Clients come to me and they just don't know the how, but they feel like they are in need of relief, and they definitely are deserving of relief. And that's what I do. I help them to get to that how. I help them to get to success, to be able to move forward from this situation and to be able to get status in the United States. And gaining status in the United States is not just about getting a green card. It's about stability. It's about your future. It's about security, control of your own destiny. And so that is why I am here tonight to talk to you about this option, because it is an option that many people don't know is available to them. Now, I want to remind you that I'm also here to answer your immigration questions. So go ahead and put your questions in the comments. I am both on TikTok and I'm both on YouTube. You can go ahead and put your questions in the comments. I'm monitoring the comments and then I will answer your questions. Hi there, Amanda. It's nice to see you. Thanks so much for the compliment. Now, let's talk about some aspects of the how, right? Because my clients, when they start, they cannot imagine how, they understand that I can help them to get to a point where they will be able to get their work permit, their travel document, and their permanent residence. But they start out with how I was verbally abused. How can I prove that? And that's what I help my clients to do. Now, what's important to know here is that any credible evidence is acceptable in this type of application to show what you have gone through. And so any credible evidence means that as long as it is believable, then you would be able to obtain an approval. And so I work with my clients to get whatever evidence is available. Some of my clients have pictures, some of my clients have text messages, some of my clients have witnesses, some of my clients have they have counseling. So where they have had to go to counseling because they had to endure such severe verbal abuse. And then remember that abuse comes in different forms. So there is not just the verbal, but there is also the financial, right? And there's the mental. There is just the manipulation alone. So these are things that are really, the evidence is really based on your particular circumstances. But it is very possible to successfully go through this process, even if you don't have a slam dunk kind of evidence like a recording. It is still possible. One of the most important pieces of evidence is your declaration, your statement. Yes, that is considered evidence as long as it is presented in a way that where the officer can understand in detail what you went through, and that what you went through does amount to abuse, that you do meet the criteria for VAWA, and that you are a person of good moral character. Because a part of it is that when the officer is evaluating your application, they're looking to see if you meet specific criteria. Hi there, 493. And these criteria are, so for example, remember, this is based on the relationship with your U.S. citizen or resident spouse, your parent, if you're under 21, under 25 in some cases, or your U.S. citizen son or daughter who's 21 and up. And so you must have lived with this individual at some point in the United States, unless this U.S. citizen or resident, they were in the military or they were an employee of the federal government. In that case, you don't necessarily have to be in the United States. You have to be a person of good moral character, as I mentioned before, and you have to show through credible evidence that you did experience battery, abuse, extreme cruelty. And remember again that abuse comes in different forms. So it's not just physical violence, and a police statement or an arrest does not have to be included as part of the evidence. So Sweet Rice 86, can you tell me about what the embassy in Jamaica is with the F1 visa and priority dates? So the F1 visa does not have priority dates, and you would have to check with the embassy on that, because every embassy, they're treating visas differently, and it depends on their schedule. It depends on whether they're scheduling appointments right now for the F1. So you'll have to check with that. Sometimes you will get information at the Department of State, or you can go directly to the official website of the embassy where they will have that information. So keep those questions coming, because I'm here to answer your immigration questions. So what does the VAWA process look like? So after we have determined that you qualify, and that's where the consultation is very, very important. We start with this consultation to determine whether you can qualify for this form of relief. Once I have determined that you qualify, we get started right away. And my team and I work very closely together to get your application right. This is not just a simple fill in the blanks form. It is a type of application where we have to brainstorm, we have to be strategic, and we have to make sure that everything is presented to the officer in a way that they can truly understand what you endured in your relationship, whether it was with your US citizen or legal permanent resident spouse, parent, if you're under 21, or your US citizen son or daughter who's 21 and up. Now, once we have gathered all your evidence, we have prepared a great application, the next step is to submit it. After we've submitted it, in some cases, you are able to apply for your work permit and your travel document at the same time. So now is a good time to get started on your application, because the sooner the better. And remember that times are getting longer for the work permit, so you want to get on it right away so that you don't have to be one of those that end up on the bottom end of getting your work permit. But once you have submitted your application, the next step is to submit the biometrics appointment. You'll be scheduled for a biometrics where they take your fingerprint for the background check. Once they have obtained your background check, you will be issued a work permit. And then after that, it's a waiting game to get the VAWA decision. Once the decision comes, then the next step is to get to your adjustment of status interview to get your permanent residence. So let me take pause to answer some more questions. I live in Haiti. I want to work and study in the USA. How can I apply to achieve my dream? So Bless 5090, those are great aspirations. And first, what we'd have to do is see how you qualify. In order to, for example, you said you wanted to study here. There are visas that could allow you to study here. You'd have to meet the specific requirements, though, for that student visa. So you have the F1, you have the M1, and it depends on the kinds of goals that you want to achieve. You said that you want to achieve your dreams, and I would want to learn more about what your dream is. And how far have you already gone in your education? So Bless 5090, that's where it's very important to schedule a consultation. This is what I help my clients to do, is to listen to what do you want to achieve, and to be able to come up with solutions for you and to help you to get there. What's the minimum time period when you are filed for and been approved by the USCIS? So Sweet Rice 86. It depends on what category you're in and what is your priority date. If you go to the National Visa Bulletin, you'll be able to see those categories and the dates that they're processing right now. All right, so keep putting your questions in the comments, because that is what I'm here. I am here to answer your immigration questions. That's my priority, so put those questions in the comments. And thanks so much for the roles. I appreciate that, Weakness. Now, I've talked about VAWA, right? VAWA is a way to apply for your own work permit, your own travel document, your own permanent residence to be able to stabilize yourself in the United States. Whether you're in status or out of status, this is a solution if you're going through a situation where you're being mistreated by certain relatives. And so if you are going through this, I want you to know that I am here to represent you through the entire process to help you put a good application together. In this case, even if you have not, you may feel like you don't have the kinds of evidence that you need because maybe it was verbal or it was mental abuse or financial abuse. I'm here to tell you that that is what I help my clients to achieve. And so you would be able to get that value of representation and guidance through the entire process. And this is a complex process. It's about 2 to 2.5 years. And then the work permit is taking 7 to 11 months. So it's a little bit backed up. It used to be around 6 to 8 months, but now we're seeing waiting times for the work permit at about 7 to 11 months. And so you want to get started on your process so you can get to that point where you're able to work here without fear. You're able to take control of your own situation without involving that abusive relative who is mistreating you. Now, another concern that I hear often is, will my relative get in trouble? I know that, this is a complex situation. You may be mistreated by this individual, but at the same time, you still love this person, right? For example, with your son or daughter who's 21 and up, your US citizen son or daughter 21 and up, they may be putting you through the ringer. They may be having emotional issues that are causing them to lash out against you. They may have substance abuse issues. And these kinds of issues still lead them to mistreat you or abuse you verbally, emotionally, mentally, even physically. But the process of applying for your own permanent residence is not going to get them in trouble. It's not there to get them in trouble, to have the police come in and drag away your relative or your loved one. As a matter of fact, you could still be living with them and still apply on your own. It is a way to get relief for yourself. And when you empower yourself, you can empower yourself to leave the situation, or you can empower yourself to help the person that is mistreating you based on something that they are going through. For example, your son or daughter is 21 and up, who may be going through emotional issues and they're lashing out against you. And so think about it that way. And it is confidential. Your relative will not be penalized. They're not going to have the police coming after them. They're not going to be arrested. As a matter of fact, you could still be living with them. Now, I know the next thing you're thinking about is, I'm living with them. How can I apply? I'm going to get mail. The USCIS, the immigration office, they're going to contact me and they're going to let my relative know that I'm applying for this. And that is also what I do for my clients. Is I serve as my office is the safe address for my clients. And so nothing is going to go to the address, and the USCIS understands that. So once we put my address as a safe address, everything goes to my address, where I keep your information in confidence, and then we arrange to work together and work around any kind of situation where you may be compromised. So what I want to make clear to you is that you cannot lose here, right? I know it is a tough situation that you're in, but at the same time, this form of relief was designed to give you a way out. Was designed to give you a safe space to apply for your own status, to empower yourself, to determine what direction you want to go in. So give me a call, schedule a consultation, and I can help you through this. I can help you to get the results. As long as you qualify, I can help you, but I need to determine whether you qualify. You can go to the link in my bio. It's going to take you to the website. There is a scheduling coordinator who's available up until 11 p.m. tonight. I'm going to go ahead and put in the comments right now. So you can go to, and I'm going to tell you the website, but on TikTok, it is on the profile. So it's stlawoffice.com. You can go there. And when you go there, you can, there are 3 ways to get in touch. Today's Friday, so it's the last day of the week to get directly in touch with a scheduling coordinator who can get you on my schedule right away. Otherwise, you will have to speak with an after hours receptionist if you'd like to speak to someone. And I'm also going to place a link in my bio where you can book your own consultations on the spot. So many different ways for you to get in touch with me, so you can get on my schedule for me to confirm you qualify and to get started on this form of relief. Now, I am going to go over to Instagram, where I'm going to talk about the same thing, but I'm also going to continue questions, the Q&A session there. Instagram is where I post most of my content. Most of this content has tips, it has updates, and I do the live. I usually do the live at 9:30. I'm a little late tonight, so you can hop on over there. If I didn't get to your question, you can go there, follow me, and we can continue to talk there. And I also repost lives there. So if you go there and you follow me, guess what? You would be able to see the lives and get information and follow up on information that I have said here, and that you'd want to rerun to get more, to understand it more. But keep in mind that the information that I'm giving here is not legal advice. It's not personal legal advice. It's general information. And so none of it is tailored just for you. That is where the consultation is very, very important. This is not a process that you want to navigate on your own. You want to make sure that you are covered, that you have someone to walk you through this process. And that's exactly what I do for my clients. So I'm going to see you in a minute on Instagram. If I don't see you on Instagram though, guess what? I will be back tomorrow at around 9 p.m. Eastern time on TikTok, or I hope to see you in a consultation. And thanks Toya Payne for the follow. I hope to see you soon on Instagram. So go to the link in my bio. You're going to see the Instagram button. Just click on that. It's going to take you to Instagram. And it's also the same handle as here, the immigration attorney. Have a good night. I hope to see you in a minute or speak with you in a consultation.